everybody, happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's Brad here at Wild Boys Brewery. Got a brew day going on today. Brewing Pooka's Pale Ale version 4, which I'm calling Amy's Pale Ale because I'm making this one for her. And got my grains crushed. Nice good crush on them. It was fun doing it outside in the rain today. I got my grain mill sitting over there. I got the mash tun heating up. Step back so you can see it. It's got about 20 seconds left and then I'm going to dough in. We're going to do 152 for an hour today. That's my timer going off for my dough in. So we're going to go ahead and dough in and try to hit 152 and then mash it for an hour and then we'll be back. Alright, we're doughed in. We're bouncing somewhere in different places of the mash tun between 151.7, 151.6. That is pretty damn close to 152. I can live with that, so we're going to close this up. And alright, we're back to 151.8, 9. Alright, 152. So we did hit 152 here. Alright, so we'll check the pH and see where it's at. Make notes. Mash it for an hour and then we'll be back when we boil off mash out. Okay, here's our hop drops. We're doing ½ ounce of pine fruit at 60, an ounce of pine fruit at 10, and then at flame out we're going to do another ounce of pine fruit and 2 ounces of Riwaka. And then the malt bill is 12 pounds of Canadian 2-row, 1 pound of Caristan, which is my crystal malt, Crystal 34, ½ pound each of honey malt and carapils. And I'm using the Safel SO4 because that's what my girlfriend likes. And then we'll do some yeast nutrient and whirl flock at somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. And that's pretty much that's the beer for today. It's pretty simple. I've made this a lot of times. The only thing I ever change on it or add, I might add a little honey malt or not. And but it's always somewhere between 10 and 12 pounds of base malt, ½ pound of carapils, pound of Caristan. That's pretty much my pale ale and my IPA malt bill. And then I just change the hops around because I like that malt bill. So we're about halfway through our mash here. We're at 31 minutes. So we'll come back when we do the boil loft. Alright, we are running clear. And it's pretty much the same color it always is because I use the same grain bill. And then we'll just stick that down in there, start collecting. And this will be, I think, the 4th pitcher that I've poured through here. And you can see it's a nice orangish copper color. Nice and clear. And that'll be my last boil off. And then I'm going to start collecting my wort here. And then we'll start moving it over to the pot when I get 4 gallons. And then I'll get my other 3.2, bring it up to a boil and start doing my drops. And we'll be back when we're doing that. Okay, we've got up to a rolling boil here. And here is our 60-minute drop of pine fruit, 1/2 ounce. And we'll start our timer here for an hour. And that's Amy playing with Smokey. Okay, we're not going to do any drops until I need to put the wort chiller in 40 minutes. So I'll set this for 40 minutes so I'll know to do my wort chiller. And then around about the same time I will do my yeast nutrient and my whirl flock drop. So we'll be back then. Cheers. Okay, you can see we've reduced. We're down to the last 10 minutes. Here is the 1 ounce of pine fruit for 10. Give it baby a good stir. I've already did the World Flocking Yeast Nutrient. I did not show that. About 10 minutes ago. Combine, combine, combine. Oh, I got me a new brew paddle. Check it out, spiffy. Woohoo! We got 10 more minutes left, and then we're going to do a flame out, and we're going to do 2 ounces of Riwaka and another ounce of pine fruit, and then another ounce of Riwaka and another 2 ounces of pine fruit for dry hop in a couple weeks. So this is going to be a nice, tasty pale ale. Okay, I already did my 2 ounces of Riwaka and 1 ounce of pine fruit, and what I did now is I turned on the wort chiller, and I'm going to drop this down to 180 degrees. And I've got the wort chiller running right now. I just did my drop, and once it hits 180 degrees, I'm going to stop it, the wort chiller, and let it run for 20 minutes, and do a hop stand. And we're already down to 190. So I'm going to put the camera down, and then I'll be back after I get done collecting the wort or doing a gravity sample of it. And we'll see if I hit my numbers or not. Okay, and it's still summertime here, toward the end of it, but 20-pound bag of ice in my 15-gallon tote. Take my submersible pump off of my keg cleaner, and then I've got like a little adapter that screws onto the top of that with a garden hose adapter on the end of it, and it's hooked up there. This is basically a ice bath chiller. Runs in, you can see I'm starting to got the warts clearing up. Got some protein still floating on the top there from the hot break. We're at 89 degrees. I usually drop it down to about I'll drop it down to about 100 degrees before I start doing this, because if you don't, it'll just instantly melt every bit of your ice, and you'll have to have 40 pounds of ice instead of 20 to cool it down, or maybe even more. But this will drop it down all the way to into the 60s if you want it to. Just to, let it run for about 10 minutes or something like that. It'll take it down from 100 to about 68 in about 15 or 20 minutes. Pretty quick. Maybe a little faster than that, just depends. And then of course, if you stir it as it goes along, that'll speed it up too. So I'm going to let this run a little bit. Once we get it down to 68 degrees, I'll transfer over to my fermenter bucket, take my read and see what the gravity is, and then we will pitch the yeast. Okay, we got 1064 at 68 degrees, because I actually cooled it down to 65, but it's done warmed up a little bit since I took this. So finally got my efficiency back up to where it was before. I think I got my grain mill set right, and I finally got my sparge right too. Was a little off on the last couple batches I've done. I think I've been over sparging a little bit and collecting too much wort. But we're back around about 78%, I believe. I'll check it here in a minute. Yeast been pitched, oxygenated everything. Got the efficiency calculator set on 75. Said I was supposed to get a 1061 at 75%, and I got a 1064 at 68. So I'll check it here in a minute and tell you exactly what it is and post it up. Here's the next day. Not quite 24 hours later, probably more like about 18. Got some nice little bubblage going on here. So the little yeasties are working. And in about 3 weeks, we'll dry hop it, and then a week later keg it. And here is the Funky Good Times on Sour Street. About 48 hours after I pitched it, I had already heard this thing is a slow starter, and it was. For 24 hours, it really didn't do much of anything. It bubbled just a little bit, and then it started getting just a little bit of film on top of it. and probably about 30 hours into it, 35 hours into it, this thing started taking off, and you can see the little yeasties in there doing their thing. Back up so you can get the full view. Got some nice activity going on in there. You can see those things moving around. I generally do most of my primary fermentation in these brew buckets, so you can't really ever see anything, so I usually miss out on this part. So it's pretty cool getting to watch it. Nice thing about the plastic big mouth is you can see everything through it. So far I'm liking this fermenter really well. I'm probably going to buy some more of them. Might get some smaller ones for doing secondaries with. It's like you just never get tired of watching that. It's like a living lava lamp. And that's the sour back there. There's not really anything to show on that. The sack yeast is pretty much dropped out. You can't really see it very good unless you get right up on top of it and look down over the edge of where the blow off got up to. I don't know if you can see anything in there or not, but that's pretty much it on that one. I did pitch some bottle dregs from the Wicked Weed Passion Flora de Blanc in there, so it's got a little couple extra little strains of Brett, and I'm not sure if that beer's got any bugs in it or not. I think it's just a Brett beer, but I'm gonna start pitching some extra dregs in there along as I go, and that's what they said recommended doing the brewing or the American Sour book, so that's what I'm gonna do, and that's pretty much it on the sour. That's gonna wrap up this week's update. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers.